Guys, I lowered the SCX6. I actually have adjustability. I can move the shocks around up top to adjust the height now. Awesome. Now, I'm gonna get to the table, show you exactly how I did it, get it outside for that drive. Guys, let's get to the table. The left side is done, the right side is obviously not. So we're gonna tear the right side apart, and I'm gonna show you guys exactly how to make it right so you don't have any binding and everything fits perfectly. If you move this down to here, you just bolt it down. You're gonna need like a 35 or 40 millimeter bolt, 4 millimeter bolt to get all the way across that. But the rod end body will actually come into contact with that right into there. So this will actually hit that. So not only do you have that clearance issue, you also have the spring retainer. This will actually hit that as well. So we're gonna solve both of those right now. Time to get this off. With the shock off, just simply pull this right here loose, pull the spring back, move your spring retainer down and off. Now we got to take this loose right here. When doing this, make sure you use proper pliers or use some kind of a real thick paper or something. Don't score this. If you score that up, you're going to have leaking shocks. So we got to take this all the way off. This right here is a printed piece. It is 5 millimeters thick, 10.5 millimeters in diameter. The hole fits perfectly right up through there, and you put this back together. Sometimes you can actually you can pinch the shock shaft and make this go. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you got to have the pliers. If you got to have the pliers, make sure you don't scratch the shaft. That's kind of important, guys. Once you have this set up, this fits right up against the rod end just like that. Then your spring retainer, look at that right there. 5 millimeters higher to clear the bracket. Then you just simply put the spring right back on. And there you go. Yes, it will increase the spring tension a little bit, but I gotta be honest with you guys, not once have I felt that the spring tension, that the springs were too stiff. Not once. When you go to put this back on, it just simply goes boom. They're right into the factory place, right up into the shock. 3 to 4 4-millimeter washers between this and the bracket. That gets you just enough clearance, and that's what we're about to do. And there you go. So this brings you back down to stock height, plus you can now use all of those settings right there for height. You know, you actually have some adjustability now, and it's really easy to get to. They're just threaded into the towers. I want you guys to see something here. As you articulate, see how close it gets to the bracket. So as you articulate it, you've got to have room. If not, that's going to hit that top of that piece a lot harder. Then you could risk bending or causing shock leakage. And if the shock is bound down here, if it's really up against that hard, you'll also have a sticking shock, and you'll be wondering, why is that happening? So you got to space that out. I do not recommend shaving down the rod end, the sides of it. I just don't. We're going to do the back the exact same way. The exact same way I just did that. So I'm going to go ahead and get that one done. There we go. We got it looking good. But there's a clearance issue. So let's take a look at that. And that clearance issue is right there. Now, as you can see, it already has some scratches on it. So I've been hitting this before quite a bit. So, got to make an adjustment there. Can't move the servo up because then the horn will start hitting the frame, so we can't do that. Now, I've taken this off, and there's a lot of room that we can actually move this thing with. So what I'm going to try, I'm going to put the stock link back on. I'm going to put it underneath the knuckles. Let's see how that works. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm using the stock link versus the Vitavon one. Well, these have a little bit of an angle to them. You see how this is set up. If I just move the Vitavon one down, I have a bad toe-in problem. This one is adjustable, so that's why we're using the stock one. because I've got to adjust this out to where I get my alignment back correctly. I've got my toe set right. Now you can look at this one, is about right in line. Look at how much I had to adjust it out. You guys can see that's why I had to use a stock one. You can also see right into there how much I had to adjust them out. And with that set up, I now have compression. Now, my only interference is this with this, but you know what? For crawling purposes, it's perfectly fine. If I'm gonna start bashing around with it, all I gotta do is lower the shock, and that'll make the shock bottom out before it hits this. So, but for me, right now, I'm leaving it just like this. Let's go ahead and check the back real quick. No clearance issues at all with the back. So, okay guys, ready to get the body on it. Let's do a side-by-side with the stock one and see where we are as far as height goes. And time to power this thing up and get it outside. Well guys, check this out. I'm actually a little bit lower than the factory. Neither one of these have the batteries in them, so look at this right here. And then look at this. Got tons of clearance. The links are totally flat up there, the pan hard and the drag link. Look at the angles on the stock one. Now, the angles on the stock one means that that axle is going to side shift more as it turns, as the suspension cycles. These being flat like that means there's no side shift at all. At least, you know, throughout a certain bit of travel. That's nice. This looks so much better. That height is right where it needs to be. Yeah, so much better. Yeah. Beautiful. If there's a downfall to this, as to what I've just done to it and all that, it's that your shock ends right here, they're now more susceptible to damage. And all mine are now nice and clean. We'll look at them when I get done with the rocks, because that's where we're going. Did a little bit of work to this the other day, working on continuing my natural rocks all the way around. Still got a lot more to do, but I need more natural rocks. Now, if you guys remember, this thing got close last time to actually getting up the nasty, the crack-a-doon. Oh, look at that. Barely cleared that. Barely cleared that rock. That's a good diff eater. Nice, nice. Hear that castle kind of moving a little bit. Soon we'll have the 17, 19 gears in the back. I'll also get a set and test around the front a little bit just to see if this thing can actually handle, you know, over and under together. Personally, I'm thinking just the 17, 19s in the back and leave the front alone. Or you can do like what I've done in the past, back before the 10-2s and all that stuff came out, with the old race style ring pinion, the AR60 style gears. I would underdrive both of those. I mean, just simply I would underdrive them just to kind of reduce torque twist. You know, you try to tell people back then that, hey, you lower that axle ratio, you get reduced torque twist because there's less torque on the drive shaft going into the transmission, into the chassis, right? But nobody wanted to listen. So we're gonna see if we can ease down this, see if I can somehow manage to get that. Let's see here. A little bit wide for this. I'm gonna bring this down. Might need to adjust my gear mesh on that motor a little bit. I did put the, I think it's a 14 tooth pinion gear. My mesh is a little bit on the rough side. I think it's a little bit looser than what it needs to be, but it'll be all right for this right here. Ooh, nice. Now this thing should be more stable, and I'm really looking forward to getting this thing over to the crack-a-doon. Look at that. We need some foams. I think I got an idea. I just need to see if I can just go ahead and get them ordered, I guess. I'm gonna make it. There you go. Ooh! When you hear a nice metal axle housing just slam into the rocks, that hurts. We're gonna try the high side, like the real high side. Ride one up across the top there. Maybe. Oh boy. This is gonna be rough right here. Oh, this thing is so leaning on a comp crawler. That's a little bit different story. Woo! Whoa! I gotta fix my pinion mesh. That sounded rough, but wow. Dang. It was a good save though. Alright, let's try it. Still haven't got this. We're gonna come right on up here. Now that, if I could get the back lower, I think it's done. We'll have to see here. Now we're lifting the tire on the front right. Okay. Still can't quite get the lean and all that. Getting close, but that tire roll is really hurting bad. Now, of course, I'm going to jump this thing, right? Now, that steering link that I had to adjust, I had to move down. I had to do that. If not, maneuvers like this would just be pretty much self-destruction, you know? And I'd rather not. Nice. Hard hit. I got a feeling we're still contact. Oh yeah, we are still contacting something. The panhard mount at the chassis is contacting the axle on full compression like that. So I guess if I am going to set up a jump video, I guess I need to move my shocks down a hole since I now have that adjustability, right? Yeah, buddy. Haha, not gonna do it. How many of you guys like to play around in leaves? They're slick. Get to slide a little bit. After that mild drive, let's look here. Yeah, I got a little bit there, a little bit. So that is definitely something to consider when you lower this thing down. So that was a mild drive. That is going to get progressively worse, I'm sure. I probably should go ahead and buy some. Well, there you go. Stability is better. Absolutely. Plus, I can use all the lower holes to adjust the height. If I'm going to go out jumping, like I mentioned, I'll move the shocks down to keep it from actually hitting on the panhard mount of the chassis. At the start of the video and all that, we're looking at it, or actually when I get everything lowered, you guys got to see the panhard, boom, straight across, or straight across. The steering drag link straight across. That's important. I mean, there's an arc to how that thing moves, you know? So if that's flat and it compresses, you get maybe 0.5 millimeter with the travel of this system right here. And it on the droop, you might get 0.5 millimeter. If it's set like this to start with, then when it compresses, the axle is going to side shift over to the passenger side. And when it droops, it's coming to the driver's side. So that's a good neutral position for that. I'm really happy with how this thing turned out. Hey, it's getting better and better. Definitely more stable. It got really close to crack of doom. Tire roll. I've got an idea. Something I want to try. I just got to order it through AMain. And yes, it will be ordered tonight. Absolutely. So anyway, guys, in that description, I will put links to everything. Make sure you check that out. All kinds of Vitavon. You guys saw all that stuff. So guys, hopefully you liked the video. Check that description. They are affiliate links, AMain, eBay, Amazon, and Horizon. Use those links to help support the channel. And guys, thank you all for watching. And give it that big thumbs up. Hey guys, if you're still watching and you're hearing this message, you are absolutely awesome. I want to tell you guys, you are the cream of the crop. Also, if you're listening this far, well, you know, if you want to help directly support Exo Caged RC, got the channel memberships, $2, $5, $10, and $25. You get early viewing, and sometimes I get to put up a little extra footage for you guys. So guys, check that description, and thank you so much.